Hi folks, I'm Natasha and welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be my book haul from Bookoutlet as well as a couple of thrift store finds, but mostly from Bookoutlet. It's sort of like a Bookoutlet haul from the month of July. I've hauled a lot of books this month. I think the last couple of videos have been mostly hauls. I kind of stockpiled some stuff and then we're going to be getting into more like book reviews and things on my channel, so it's not going to be just hauls, let me tell you. So I picked up 12 books this time from Bookoutlet. That typically is about the amount that I pick in order to get free shipping to Canada. So the first book I picked up is November 9th from Colleen Hoover, and I've heard really good things about this. It has to do with a couple that meets every year on November 9th, and I think it talks about their relationship and drama and things. I don't know too much more about that, but I think it might be like kind of like a contemporary adult book. Don't really know too much about the plot of this other than the November 9th thing. Up next, I picked up Ugly Girls by Lindsay Hunter, and I got this mostly because of the cover. This one is also really short, so I'm thinking that if I don't end up getting to the books that I planned for my booktubeathon TBR, that this one will be one that I add in. This talks about two teenage high school girls who are sort of like rebellious and run around town and that kind of thing, and talks about how one of them gets sort of lured by a guy who claims that he's in high school but isn't, and then talks about them trying to get away from him. So I don't know how deep it actually gets. It seems sort of messed up with that sort of like predatorial like luring of young girls. I love kidnapping. I love reading books about kidnapping and missing people, so I have a feeling this might go really dark. It seems interesting though, so I'm excited to see where that goes. And it's short, like 220 pages, so I have a feeling I could read that pretty quickly. Up next, I picked up this book, again, mostly because of the cover. A lot of the stuff I grab from Bookoutlet, I see because of the cover, and then I read what it's about and I order it. This one is Pretty Is by Maggie Mitchell, and the insert for this one says that it was two girls who were kidnapped when they were 12, and they were held in a cabin for like a couple months, and then this is following their story as an adult, and they get one of them is like a movie producer, and she gets this script that sounds very similar to what they went through as children. And that's about all I know. Alright, next book is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. This is one that I definitely bought like pretty much the order in order to get this book. I'm going to Italy for my honeymoon in October, and I basically wanted to read this because like my main plan for it is to go and eat a lot of gelato. And so this talks about a girl who gets her mother's notebook for her mother's travels through Italy, and she's kind of like seeking her father, I think, as well, but it says that suddenly she's uncovering a magic world of secret romances, art, and hidden bakeries. And there's a love in it too, so it's like super cute. I bought this because I was thinking I might take it on the plane with me, but it's like a heavy hardback, and I really don't want to lug this around for like 3 weeks in Italy, so I have a feeling I'm gonna read it like just before we go. I just got the warm fuzzies from it, and it made me very excited to like go on my honeymoon. Not that I'm not excited anyway, but you know what I mean. Alright, next up I picked up this book. It's Find Me by Laura Vanderberg, yeah. And this was probably one of the weirdest sounding ones that I picked up, and again I was looking for like a thriller, like I guess thriller, kind of like weird, something weird. This has to do with a woman named Joy, and she works a graveyard. Like this is just reading some of the stuff in here, and it caught my eye because I read the thing on Bookoutlet and went, this is fucking weird. So it says Joy has no one. She spends her day working the graveyard shift at a grocery store, and she has an addiction to cough syrup. That kind of sparked my interest because robo-tripping, which is like drinking a lot of Robitussin, was like kind of a big thing when I was in high school. I don't want to admit that. I never did it, but I watched people do it, and so it was like, I saw that and went, alright. Yeah, so then a plague or sickness sweeps the country that deals with memory loss. And so she's actually immune to it, and I don't know. That's all I know about it. But I don't want to know much more about that, but it sounds really good and really interesting. And yeah, I'm excited to find out like what this is about. I don't know, like I don't like dystopian necessarily, but like I like modern day everyone gets a weird illness. I think I have a couple books like that. I don't know, maybe. Yeah, I do actually. I have another one that's kind of like that. Anyway, okay, I'll talk about that in a second. Next little one I picked up seems like it's going to be a really like quick, easy read. This is a book called You Are Here by Jennifer E. Smith, and this is just a road trip novel. It deals with a girl who discovers that her twin brother died, and she decides to go on like a road trip with this guy who wants to leave the town, and they're neighbors, that's all they really have in common. And then they start their trip in a stolen car with a dog, and that's all I know. I love reading road trip novels. They're like some of my favorite things. Some of them are better than others. I just finished a really good one, so I have a feeling that this one's not going to be as good as the other one, but I'm not willing to sell it short until I read it. Picked that up because I like road trip stuff. One thing that I found on Bookoutlet, which I think is awesome, is that they sell box sets, like having like full sets of things. And so I picked up Morgan Matson's collection, Detours, Do-Overs, and Dares, and this is just the collection of her summer work. So in it we have Amy and Roger's Epic Detour. This is the one that I just finished reading. I finished this last night and it was so good. I gave it 5 stars. It's kind of fluff, and it's funny when I compare it to other books that I've given 5 stars this month or this year. It's probably one of the more like fluffy ones, but I thought it was so good. It's like the perfect road trip book. Oh yeah, I annotated a couple of spots in this. I might have a review up on this because I liked it so much. But yeah, this was just so sweet and so cute, and I loved it, so there you go. And it was the first Morgan Matson book I read, and I'm happy then that I got like the trilogy of summary things from her, because I want to read all of them like right now. The next one in that box set is Second Chance Summer. This one seems like very cute summary like thing. I have a feeling this one might make me cry though, because her father, I think, is dealing with like a terminal illness, and so it's sort of like the last family vacation up to their like family like cottage house, and her old friends are up there, and it says something, you know, like full of fireflies and fireworks. The summer holds a possibility for forgiveness and maybe even love. Oh, it sounds so sweet. So cute. I love it. It's big though, I'm not gonna lie. It's like 450 pages, so for a summer read that's like pretty hefty, but I want to try to finish this probably next month, I'd say. And then the one that I mostly got the box set for, which is actually going to be the last one that I read, is Since You've Been Gone. I almost bought this full price at Chapters, and I'm happy I waited because I got this box set I think for like 12 bucks on Bookoutlet. Like the actual box itself is like a little dinged up and stuff, but I mean, whatever, it's going on my shelf anyway. I'm not going to do anything with it. But this one is super cute. It's one of the most beautiful like book covers. I love this. I think it's darling. And the inside cover is like super cute. Oh, I love this. This is just like, I love this. I really hope I like the book because like the cover and everything is exactly my aesthetic. Like, I really like it. So this one has to do with a girl named Emily who's best friends with a girl named Sloane, and Sloane kind of pieces out or disappears, whatever, and leaves Emily with a list of things that she's supposed to do in the summer to help her like break out of her shell. It sounds adorable. So moving from feel-good books into probably not so feel-good, I picked up a box set from Suzanne Young, which is The Program and The Treatment. These two books have to deal with teen suicide, so I imagine it's going to be kind of triggering to people who don't want to read about that. So oddly enough, this is another book where the main character's name is Sloane. Like, I've never even heard that name in like my real life, but then I have like 2 books where the character's name is Sloane. I think that's super weird. Girls too. Is that a name that like people use a lot? I don't know. Anyway, it has to do with teen suicide is becoming an epidemic, and so whenever they show symptoms of depression, they get put into this this program that wipes their memories, and I think that sounds fucking interesting. This is The Treatment, which I imagine is them following up from whatever the hell happens in this. I don't really want to read the back of this one because I think it's going to spoil the ending of this, so I'm just gonna kind of put them together. Read the first one, read the second one, and move on from there. I also picked up this, which you guys may have seen from my library haul. I did accidentally order a copy of this and then pick it up at a library thing for like 33 cents, so I'll just get rid of the library copy at some point. This is Revenge, Ice Cream, and Other Things Best Served Cold by Katie Finn. I think this is the second book in a trilogy, but I think I'm just gonna read this. This is summary and kind of like a revenge between two teenage friends. That's really all I know about it. But that's it. Yeah, those are the books that I grabbed from Bookoutlet. I love Bookoutlet. Hashtag sponsor me, please. No, I'm just kidding, but please fucking do, because like, oh my god, that would be like my dream. Alright, and lastly I'm going to talk about 6 books that I grabbed. Well, 5 books I grabbed from Value Village, 1 I grabbed from my library. The first one I'm going to talk about is this fucking hunk of a brick. This is The Fireman by Joe Hill. Joe Hill is Stephen King's son? Am I right with that? Oh god, yeah. Yeah, definitely. Look at this guy. He could not be more of Stephen King's son if he tried. This was $2 at my library. Like, it was just out in like a shelf of like things that they sell, and I went, fuck yeah. Because this was one again that I was looking in chapters and almost bought full price for like, what? 25 bucks. I'm going to include this in like a big book month where I just read big books for a month, because this is huge. This is 750 pages. Of course. This has to do with the plague where people are spontaneously combusting. That sounds like a fucking dream to read about. Hoping it's as interesting as it sounds. But basically there's one guy who is again sort of immune to it, and he's sort of walking around the community looking like ominous as shit. Call him the Fireman. So who the hell knows what goes on in this, but I don't want to know anything about this because I'm so excited to read it, and it's also like a big friggin' break of a book, and so I don't even want to know like anything that happens other than like people spontaneously combust and there's like a creepy ominous dude who doesn't. That's all I want to know. So stoked for this. Like hella excited. 5 books that I picked up from Value Village. Value Village here does like a book thing where if you pick 4 you get a 5th book for free. Typically they range anywhere from like $6 and under. So you spend about 20 bucks and you get 5 books. Not too bad. So I picked up 5 and they're just all over the place. Value Village, I just grab stuff and it's the most random things that I grab. First off, I picked up The Juliet Society by Sasha Grey. For those of you who don't know, who might not know things about things, Sasha Grey is an ex-porn star, and so I saw this and went, Sasha Grey wrote a book? And so I read it and went, Sasha Grey wrote a book. So then the curiosity in me went, I want to read the book that like an ex-porn star wrote. Turns out she writes porn. This was straight erotica with like a little bit of plot. It was so bad. I read this and it was bad. I gave this 1 star on Goodreads. I almost want to do a video on this, but like it's so, it's porn, and like there's parts of this in this that I'm like, only a well-seasoned porn star could write erotica like that, because it was just raunchy. Like I said, I'm open to whatever the fuck you're into, but there's some weird shit in this because the writing is just, it's horrible. It's really bad. So yeah, there's that. So then Jeff picked up this book, which is The Devil in the White City by Eric Larson. This won some awards, obviously. It talks about the story of H.H. Holmes, which was, he was a serial killer in the US in like the 1890s, I believe, and he kind of did like the weird murder hotel and all that stuff. I know a lot about the case. Like, it's reading on the back that it's like historical fiction based with a lot of fact, so I don't know exactly what this is. Because nowhere on the back says anything about H.H. Holmes, so I'm wondering if it's just like a fiction story that is like a heavy historical fiction. I don't know, but it seemed interesting. We grabbed that. And then Jeff picked up this. This is Stuck in Downward Dog. He's like, I think you'll like this. And I don't know, I always just grab books that like he thinks that I should read because it's interesting to see what other people think your interests are. This talks about a girl who's 28. Her boyfriend dumps her. She's living in like a basement apartment. She works as a receptionist at a cosmetic surgery clinic. She has a terrible boss. And then she decides to fall in love with yoga. And so now she's navigating the dueling words of yoga and cosmetic surgery, gourmet dinners, Frankenberry cereal, etiquette handbooks, and 2 helpful loved ones. So it's a comic debut about how to get unstuck when you're caught in a rut. I think it sounds kind of cute. So Jeff grabbed this for me. He's like, hey, I think you'll like this. I'm like, yeah, sure, whatever. And I grabbed it. So we'll see when I read this. In a Dark Dark Wood by Ruth Ware. I love this cover. It's so freaking cool. This is a thriller about a woman who is an author, and she goes up to a cabin and then she realizes she's like not alone in the woods. Spooky! Then also wakes up in a hospital bed with like no recollection of like what went down in this cabin. So that sounds cool. This is definitely going to be one in my like fall, maybe November, maybe September. Basically, I'm gone for the whole month of October, if you guys weren't aware of that. My wedding and then my honeymoon, so I'm kind of like reading spooky things in September and November. Because sadly, I miss like most of the awesome scary spookathons and stuff that happen in October. And then I picked up What She Knew by Gilly McMillan. This has to do with a woman who is out for a walk with her 8-year-old son. She loses sight of him for a moment, and then her son disappears, and then the media is sort of like focusing their attention on her, and I think that there's like some family stuff, like did a family member take her son? Who knows? Sounds, again, really, really dark and really twisted. Kidnapping a kid. That's kind of fucked up shit I like to read in the fall. So that wraps up my haul of things I got in this month. And this pretty much wraps up hauls that I'm going to be doing in like the next little while, because I have a TBR like you wouldn't friggin' believe right now, and it's just like ominously staring at me, and so I just want to like read through a bunch of books for a couple months before I go ham and buy more. Let me know in the comments down below if any of these pique your interest, what you're interested in, anything in here that I should read like first, I guess. Yeah, so hopefully everyone is doing good, and until my next video, I'll talk to all you soon. Bye!